Hey everyone, welcome back to Construction Contract Administration, where we dive deep into the construction and architectural design. I'm Susan Scarlet-Macaw, a licensed architect specializing in mountain home design and construction in FEMA designated areas. Today, we're breaking down the pre-construction basics using a real-world example, an office building project. If you're preparing for the CSI, CDT, CCS, or CCCA exams, this will reinforce key concepts you need to master for the exam and work. Before the first shovel hits the ground, a lot of planning happens behind the scenes. Pre-construction is where contractors review contract documents, set up schedules, negotiate with suppliers, and make sure that the compliance is up to par with the industry standards. One of the first steps is estimating the pass-off. That's right, PASS OFF, the pass-off. This is where the estimator hands over the bid estimate to the project team, which covers the critical permits, the key subcontractors they will use. For example, let's say you're constructing a 5-story office building in downtown Asheville, North Carolina. Before construction begins, the contractor must review contract documents, set up the schedule, and ensure compliance with regulations. This applies to the office building in such a way. The contractor will review Division 1, which is the general requirements, to check for the sustainability requirements, what are the payment schedules, and what are the subcontractor procedures to either hire a subcontractor or to even look at their bid. Another item that applies is the project team meets to discuss the pre-bid schedule and critical submittals, like the steel framing shop drawings and fire protection system approvals. If the project is in a historic district, they also ensure compliance with local preservation boards. So for those CSI exam takers, understanding the role of the project team in contract documents is key to passing your CDT exam. Watch my other videos where I quiz you on certain questions. All right, next let's talk about the buyout process. The buyout process is when the contractor finalizes the subcontract, the supply contracts, and purchase orders. The ethical practice is a big deal here because bid shopping is not allowed. Bid shopping is when contractors unfairly use one bid to leverage another one. This is a big major no-no because you want to create trusting relationships with your subcontractors. You don't want to tell one of your subcontractors what the other subcontractor is making. So to avoid this issue, some contracts require the subcontractors be listed up front, ensuring the transparency and fair competition. This way, all the subcontractors know who's bidding on the project. In a real world, in our office building project, the buyout phase is when the general contractor finalizes subcontracts for major trades like the heating, ventilating, and air conditioning, or the electrical, or the steel work in our case. A key challenge when we're building with steel is that steel prices fluctuate. Instead of selecting a supplier immediately, the contractor will budget a contingency amount and negotiate the final process during buyout. A contingency is, let's say they think the steel purchase will be $20,000. So they write up maybe a 5% contingency or a 10% contingency to that $20,000, hoping that if it fluctuates, the money has been accounted for. How does this apply to the office project? Well, the contractor will issue the subcontracts to the major trades like the plumbing, concrete, roofing, and the steel contractor. The ethical concerns that will arise when the subcontractor asks, what is my competitor's price? Then The contractor refuses to bid shop, maintaining professionalism, meaning the contractor will tell the subcontractor, sorry, but I cannot tell you what is that bid amount, but I can tell you who are the people who are bidding on that project. Then the contractor ensures that the subcontract agreements include the flow down clauses, tying them to the general contract. If you want to know more about flow down clauses, write it down on the comment and I will explain it. All right, so now we move to contract awards and documentation. Once the subcontracts are awarded, it is crucial that all agreements mirror the main contract. Standard forms from the organizations like the American Institute of Architects, AIA, or the Engineers Joint Contract Documents Committee, or the consensus documents help ensure that there is consistency within the industry. A key detail in these contracts is that they pay when paid clauses. Some contractors only pay their subcontractors after getting paid by the owner themselves. This way, they don't get into trouble with not having enough money to pay their own employees. However, not all states allow this, and many subcontractors push to get paid upon completion of their work. But sometimes contractors don't like to pay right at the completion of the work until a punch list or everybody involved in the team has cleared out any changes or has reviewed the work that has been installed. In a real-world example, our downtown office building is ready to move forward, but contracts must be finalized. The general contractor must ensure that every contract references the main contract, including the pay when paid clauses and also the insurance requirements. For example, the steel subcontractor wants assurance that they will be paid within 30 days of their invoice, but the general contract has a paid when paid clause. If the contractor hasn't been paid, he or she cannot pay the subcontractor. After all the negotiations, they agree on a modified clause ensuring that maybe partial payment if the owner delays, meaning that the contractor will not leave their subcontractor with a pending payment, but they will do a partial payment so that they can continue with their business. One of the common contracts used is the AIA A101, which is a standard contract between the owner and the contractor. This is a very good exam tip for any of the CSI exams or even the Architectural Registration Board, is to be familiar with the different contract types, especially the A101 from AIA, which is how the payments are defined and also how risk allocation is provided within the contract. All right, now we will move to the notice to proceed and the project schedules. Now that we have officially kicked off the construction with the notice to proceed, this document is signed by the owner, sets the project start date and completion time frame. It is definitely the green light for all the contractor activities, from site preparation to materials procurement when they start purchasing the materials. By the way, speaking of timelines, creating a detailed construction progress schedule is key to keep your project on time. First, you need to have a start and completion dates for all the activities. You need to have a submittal review timeline, which is something that you will provide to the architect before you start your notice to proceed. And it's critical to have a material list of the lead times for all the materials as they arrive to your site, and then a coordination with subcontractors for the progress schedule and make any changes of that schedule as it goes along. So a real world example would be, again, our office building, which has the permits, the funding, and the contracts are in place. The owner issues the notice to proceed. In some cases, it's the owner, in other cases, is the owner representative. In either case, the notice to proceed is important to be given to the contractor so that he or she can officially start the project timeline. How does this apply? Well, for our NTP, our notice to proceed, it will be issued on March 1st, 2025. Then we set up a 14-month completion deadline. The contractor submits the critical path method schedule showing the key milestones. One example would be the foundation work will be done from March through April 2025. The steel erection will be from May through July 2025. The mechanical, electrical, and plumbing rough-ins would be from July through November, and the interior finishes from December through March of 2026. Now, this schedule accounts for lead times, like a 10-day week delayed on HVAC systems. We just never know. Those are large systems, and heating, ventilating, and air conditioning requires a lot of coordination. Now we'll go to the importance of contract documents. Every construction project relies on a clear and comprehensive contract document. This includes the owner-architect agreement, the general conditions of the contract, Division 1, which specifies the general requirements, and the technical specifications and drawings. Making sure that all the project participants are working with the most current documents is crucial. Incomplete or outdated plans lead to costly mistakes. For example, managing the contract of this office building is key to avoid mistakes that could cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. The general contractor ensures that everyone from electricians to drywall installers have access to the latest plans and addenda. For example, the architect might issue Addendum 3, revising the ceiling heights in the lobby. They could have changed because the mechanical system changed, and now we can have a higher ceiling in the lobby. If the contractor is working off old plans, then the subcontractor can make the error and frame incorrectly, having the ceiling be 8 feet instead of 9 feet, or vice versa. In either case, this would lead to delays and added costs, and then either the subcontractor has to pay for that work, or the contractor has to pay for that work. In either case, someone should have been coordinating the documents that the architect issues. The project manager keeps a conform set of documents, incorporating all updates in a centralized system. Most people use either Procore, and they upload the information so that everyone knows what's the latest change. Another tip for the CSI examination is the Division 1, which is the general requirements, will tell you how the contract documents should be managed. So if you have the specifications, read Division 1, which will tell you what items you need to pay attention as you are administering the contract. Understanding contract administration isn't just paperwork. It's about keeping projects on time and within budget. I just broke down the key steps in a real-world office example to make it easier for you to understand the concepts. If you're planning to take the CSI, CDT, CCS, or CCCA exam, this video covers essential topics you'll see on the test. But more important than the test, this gives you important information to do the best job when working in a team. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button. Do you want more study tips? Watch my short on questioning you for the exam. Have a question about contract administration? Drop it in the comments and I'll cover it in a future video. Thank you. Don't forget, Until next time, build smart, design with purpose, and good luck with your studies.